Jake Canfield describes the law of attraction as the idea that you will attract into your life whatever you focus on. So my question to all of you today is, what are you attracting into your life and what are you focusing on? Today in my speech, I'm going to inform you of a little cluster of nerve cells right about here that monitor your environment and basically filter through what is important for you to think about, and they throw out the stuff that they don't think is important about. So it's called the Reticular Activating System, RAS for short. And what I hope to gain through this speech is to give you guys a way to kind of take control of your thoughts and ultimately maybe change your life with those changed thoughts. I understand that the reticular activating system is kind of a big word and sounds really boring, but if you can learn how to trick your brain, it's actually a really interesting concept. So throughout this speech, I'm just going to kind of explain what the reticular activating system is, what it does, how we can take control of it, and then I'm going to give you guys a few examples of how the RAS works in your everyday lives. So according to a psychology discussion, the RAS facilitates sensation and attention. The primary function of RAS is to alert higher brain cell centers when important messages are received and to filter incoming messages. Now that's a big definition, so I'm going to break it down a little bit. Basically what this means is that this cluster of nerve cells is taking everything in that you're taking in and then filtering out and sending on what's really important and taking out what it's not. For example, when you're in an environment where, say you're at the mall and everyone's talking at once and it's really, really loud, the RAS is the reason that you're able to zone out all the other noise and just focus on the conversation between you and the person you're having, or focus on your phone and not what everyone else is saying. But the RAS is also responsible for why you're in a big group of people, you can't really hear what they're saying, but then as soon as someone says your name or anything that sounds like your name, immediately your attention is up and going, and it's because your RAS heard your name and sent that to the higher brain cells and was like, hey, this is important, we need to focus on this. So then the question then becomes, how does the RAS know what to focus on and what not to focus on? And the example is, it focuses on what is important to us, and it knows what's important to us by what we choose to focus on. So if your favorite color is blue and you always are focusing on the color blue, whenever the RAS notices something blue, it's going to automatically send signals to your brain. Whereas if your least favorite color is pink, it's usually not going to let very many signals through about that color, and you're less likely to notice it as much. This is why when there's a new song on the radio and you're like, wow, I've never heard this song before, this is really good, and then once you're aware of it, you start hearing it everywhere you go. This is the exact same thing, exactly what this is. So how you can control the RAS is becoming very intentional with what you're thinking about. It's kind of what the law of attraction says. If you are thinking constantly about positive thoughts, it is proven that you will start to notice more and more positive things. Same thing if you are thinking about negative thoughts all the time, you'll start to notice more and more negative things. I'm reading this book right now called Draw the Circle, and Matt Batterson is the author, and he talks a lot about the RAS and how it's the same thing with prayer. And when we start to pray over a person or a place or a thing, then we start to notice it more and more every day than we normally would if we hadn't been thinking about it. And it's because once we make it important, the RAS knows, and so when it sees things that relate to that concept, it filters them through. So I just want you to be aware of what you're thinking about and what you're focusing on, because the RAS does pay attention, and if you're always being negative or talking down on yourself, you're more likely to notice those things. And so I want to leave you with a quote by Craig Groeschel, who's a pastor at Life Church here in Oklahoma City. And Craig Groeschel always says that our minds are always moving in the direction of your strongest thought. So what's your strongest thought going to be today? You're in complete control of that, and you get to make the categories and decide what the RAS filters through and what it throws out.